The classic burger bun cannot be overlooked. They are the first thing you feel when you sink your teeth into the burger. Even if, while eating a burger, you can be distracted by the patty, I think that a soft and fluffy burger bun makes the experience 10 times better. That's why today's video is about a burger bun that stuns. It's soft, airy, and simple to make. I'm using fruit yeast water to make them, and there's a link in the description box to what that is and how to make it. But I've also got an option for instant yeast in here, so it's up to you which one you'd like to use. So let's get right into it. We start with the familiar place most of my bread recipes start with, Poolish. 100 grams of fruit yeast water and 100 grams of flour. Or if you're using instant yeast, then 100 grams of water and 100 grams of flour plus this much instant yeast. Mix them up, and then we do the highly complex and technical step of leaving these guys to sit for 12 to 18 hours. Or in other words, a good night of sleep plus watching YouTube till it's late. Getting meta here, I know. Then tomorrow, when the sun rises from the east, so will our yeast. For more information on Poolish, you can check out one of my previous videos, a link is in the description box. Alright, now once we have our Poolish ready, we're going to grab a mixing bowl. I'll be using my stand mixing bowl because I'm using the stand mixer later. Now take the Poolish and let it gracefully fall into the mixing bowl. We'll do this over a scale to make sure we get all of the Poolish and scrape out whatever sticks to the bowl. Then I'm adding in water, sugar, salt, and whole egg. I add and lightly stir all these liquids and dissolvable ingredients in first because it allows everything to become more homogeneous. So when we add flour later, we don't have to worry about making sure everything is well combined. And then we can throw in the bread flour, lightly combine it before letting the stand mixer take over. As another option, you can knead it by hand, of course. The steps are still the same, although they may take longer. Now, with the dough hook attachment on, we'll start off mixing the dough at a low speed for 1 to 2 minutes. This kind of ensures that any loose flour is incorporated before you take the speed any higher, so you don't end up with a face full of flour or a kitchen that needs to be dusted. After that, we raise the speed to a medium and let that run for 3 to 4 minutes. At this point, the dough should become more and more cohesive, cleaning up the bottom of the bowl. We're not going to let it reach full gluten development just yet though, because when the time's up, we're going to make it better and add butter. There's little difference between better and butter, right? Try to use softened butter, by the way. It'll go in a lot easier and incorporate faster. If you used hard butter and just immediately set the mixer to high, worst case scenario is you could somehow have butter flying out of the bowl. So, I mean, let's leave the butterflies alone and use softened butter so it mixes smoothly. Once all the butter is in, then we turn the mixer back on and take it back to medium. Let it run for another 8 to 10 minutes or until it's done. Throughout the process, of course, we can use our spatula and scrape down the sides as needed. When the butter is first in, as you can see, it's all over the place. It looks like it's some sort of sludgy mess, and butter was a terribly wrong decision. But no, don't worry about it. The entire thing is eventually going to come together and look as smooth as butter. Then finally, after the time is up, we can test the dough for its readiness by doing a window pane test on it. Stretch out a piece of the dough, and if you can get it thin enough to see light through it like a window pane, then you're good. If it doesn't allow you to stretch it out that thin and rips before achieving that, then the gluten hasn't been fully kneaded, and you can let it mix for another 2 minutes before testing it again. Now, if it feels heavy and you can get it to a point where you can see things through it, then you're probably in the wrong place and may actually be holding a window pane. Okay, sorry for my out-of-place dry jokes. Alright, so anyways, since the dough has passed the window pane test, we'll be taking it out of the bowl. Adding a little bit of flour so we can handle it. And then we round it out. Before putting it into a vegetable oil-coated glass bowl. Cover it well and we'll leave it for 5 hours or until it expands to double in volume. This is the stage where the dough is going to build up a lot of strength and get fluffier. The time it takes to reach double in volume depends on your room temperature. If you live in a much hotter place, then it could be much faster. If you live in a cooler place, then it will probably take longer. It's best to really just observe the dough. When you see it has grown to this height, then it's time to end the bulk fermentation. So that's just what we'll do here. It's been 5 hours since we started the bulk ferment, and it's time to turn the dough out of the bowl. We'll be using just a bit of flour to dust our surface. It's a relatively low hydration bread dough, so there's no need for too much. Then dump out the dough. It should come out easily thanks to the oil. And first thing we'll do is firmly deflate it by patting out some of the excess gas. By doing this sort of thing, we're giving the resulting burger buns a smoother and more even crumb. I doubt anyone associates a good burger bun with something that has a lot of large holes in the crumb. After that, we can divide it now. I like to do that in slices, just like a pizza. For larger burger buns, I'm going to divide the dough into 6 pieces, each weighing about 100 grams. But if you're going for smaller buns, then you can divide it into 8 pieces, with each being about 75 grams. With that, we're going to shape them into round balls. So grab the corners of the piece, bring them into the center, and press in all the way around the little dough. Then flip it over and roll it into a ball with your palm. Repeat for the remaining pieces. Then we'll immediately put them on a baking pan lined with a silicone baking sheet. If you don't have one, then parchment paper will work just as well, just to keep the bread from sticking. Make sure to put the buns at a certain distance from each other and the edges since they will grow in volume. They're going to be very fluffy after all. Then you're going to cover all these naked buns with whatever's appropriate, doubling it over with cloth. And the next step is to leave them for their final proof, which is going to take 2 hours. This time we want to let them grow to less than double their current size. We don't want the dough to fully expand since that would mean the yeast have fully developed and then wouldn't be able to grow in the oven as much. So just before it reaches that stage, we stop proofing and bake the buns. At which point they should have this appearance. They look fluffy and puffy and are ready to bake in a moment. Just before baking, we're going to brush them with a good layer of egg wash. Just 1 egg in a bowl, mix it up. Then brush it on. This egg wash will help give our bread a golden color and shine. This will further ensure our bread gets a nice tan. After the egg wash, we have to add the topping that makes these distinctively burger buns. Sesame seeds, either black or white, they really complete the appearance of the burger buns and taste great later on as well. With that, we've made burger buns? Almost, I guess. They're still raw because we haven't baked them yet. So we'll slide the buns into a preheated oven at 190 degrees Celsius, middle rack, top and bottom heat for 40 minutes or until they turn brown and done. Depending on your kind of oven, the temperatures and baking times needed may vary. It's best to observe carefully and adjust accordingly. And so here are the burger buns. They smell very good and look amazing, but can they pass the squish test? The test that shows how puffy they are? Well, they pass with flying colors. If we also tear them apart, their insides are airy and soft. If you bite into the buns, you'll find they taste very mellow. There isn't any sourness or too much sweetness, it's just a light, refreshing taste. That's it for today. Thanks for watching and bye!